This question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-242-1551. That's 800-242-1551. 800-242-1551.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is pleased to partner with the Empowerment Congress once again for their 34th annual summit. The summit's theme is From Vision to Action, a forum to unlock participatory democracy, and will feature a nonpartisan gubernatorial candidate forum focused on issues of importance to the African American community. The summit is the signature public policy-oriented observance of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy during the national 3-day holiday weekend that celebrates his life. This year's summit will be held on Saturday, January 17th, 2026 at the California Science Center in Exposition Park from 9 to 11 a.m. Admission is free, but registration is required at KBLA1580.com. All major announced candidates for California governor for the Democratic and Republican Party nominations have been invited to participate in the candidate forum, which will be moderated by Tavis Smiley. An all-star panel of journalists will pose questions to the candidates, and the forum will be broadcast live on KBLA Talk 1580. This is going to be a big year for local, state, and national politics. The political pulse of 2026 beats on KBLA Talk 1580.
Ray Richardson, your LA sports authority, and Neal Scarbrough, the editor extraordinaire, are bringing the heat. It's Out of Bounds on KBLA Talk 1580. These guys have a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, where we always have a lot to talk about. Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA, in the heart of Los Angeles. Welcome forward to the premiere edition of Out of Bounds in prime time with my guy Neal Scarbrough, the editor extraordinaire. I'm Ray Richardson, your LA Sports Connection. You can join the conversation at 1-800-920-1580, 1-800-920-1580. Time now to get into some NFL talk. It's a major weekend for the National Football League. We got one of our best buddies getting ready to join the conversation, a very astute and esteemed journalist. He works for USA Today. Please welcome everybody, one of the NFL's, matter of fact, he's a Hall of Fame NFL writer. Please welcome to the show, Jared J.B. Bell of USA Today. What's up, JB?
Bring him on.
Hey, what up, fellas? How y'all doing?
Hey, what's up, Jared?
Hey, Happy New Year to you, buddy. Thanks for taking time with us. How you doing today, sir?
Yes, sir. Oh, wonderful, man. Just ready to get on with the second season or the next season or the road to the Super Bowl, whatever you want to call it. It's that time.
And what game you going to? I think you said Jacksonville, right?
Yeah, they play Buffalo, and that's an interesting matchup because Buffalo. Number one, they hadn't won on the road in the playoffs in a long time since the 90s. But they've been a contending team with Josh Allen, and it seemed like they would run into Patrick Mahomes every time, and that would kind of be the end of that. So with no Mahomes and the Chiefs in the playoffs, if you're Buffalo, you might think, okay, this is our shot. But Jacksonville is just exploded under their new coach, Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback, playing the best that he's played since he came into the NFL. And so the Jaguars are very hot. A lot of people don't know because they're kind of off the radar, but they could be a real dangerous team in the playoffs.
Jared Bell of USA Today, their national lead NFL writer, Hall of Fame writer as well, joining us on Out of Bounds. JB, what game stands out to you the most in this first round?
Well, the one I'm going to does because of, what I said. But the other one that really has my attention will be the last one on Monday night when you're talking about Pittsburgh and, Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin together. Can they do it? I mean, this has been such an uneven season for them. They were lucky to get into the playoffs with the Ravens kicker missing that, chip shot field goal. And then Houston on the end. So what do they get for a reward for getting in the playoffs? They get the Houston Texans.
And that raging defense, right?
Yeah, but they've won 9 games in a row, man. That's the longest winning streak right now going in the NFL, any of these playoff teams. And the defense is pretty phenomenal. So Pittsburgh has got to find some answers for that. Now, here's the thing that you got to keep in mind when it comes to especially Pittsburgh and this year with Aaron Rodgers and all that. Their offense is ranked only like 25th or something like that. But, they didn't have DK Metcalf the past couple of games when, like I said, they could have lost both of them. And then they've added a couple other receivers, veteran guys, Adam Thielen, Marquez Valdez, Scantling. Now, those are not household names and guys that are going to make you say, oh, they got these guys, but it's better than what they've had. Right? So when you look at those guys and DK and the running backs have been great all season, I think they can cobble together something. And if you're Pittsburgh, you got to think, Aaron Rodgers being the veteran guy, if he can figure some stuff out. But then sometimes you can figure some stuff out and you just can't do it physically.
Yeah, well, JB, I mean, isn't this why they brought him here, though, a little bit? I mean, the Steelers are always up and down every season. So the test this year is, hey, Mike, can you win a playoff game? And then, hey, I got a quarterback who I think, at least upstairs, has what it's going to take to get us down the field and maybe in the end zone a few times. So this is really where the test is. It's like, thank you, Aaron, for up and down season. But, the Steeler Nation is like, it's time to win a playoff game with Aaron Rodgers. And then, John Harbaugh had an ugly Monday. Is Mike Tomlin's a week later, if they don't win this game, or does he win a game and show everybody that he actually might be the best coach this season? Because maybe the Steelers aren't as good as we think.
Yeah, I mean, those are all great points. And let me just try to unpack a little bit of it because, when I was last in Pittsburgh, they lost to Buffalo, ugly game, and the fans were like, fire Tomlin and all that stuff, right? And, the Steelers put the word out pretty fast that, we're not going to fire Mike Tomlin, right? Sometimes you never say never or whatever, but the bottom line, they said, hey, if Mike Tomlin's not here next year, it's because he doesn't want to be here. But he got a contract extension, just like John Harbaugh got a contract extension this year, several months ago. And so you never know. I think if the Steelers lose, and if it's a bad loss especially, the noise will ratchet up. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the Steelers will make a move on Mike Tomlin. But, to your point, Neal, Aaron Rodgers came to Pittsburgh because he wanted to, chase another championship. And he wanted to go into a situation as well. He only had so many places he could go. But point being that all the pressure wasn't on him to put the team on his back. This is not go be Josh Allen. Yeah. It's like just kind of mesh with everything else that we've got going here and give us that elevation at quarterback. So, to your point, Neal, I think that's the thing that's interesting. And so now you've got to do it against the best defense. Maybe Denver could make an argument as well, and Philadelphia's got a great defense as well. But arguably the best defense in the NFL with the Houston Texans.
Yeah. Jared Bell of USA Today, their lead NFL writer, joining us on Out of Bounds, our premier edition in prime time version of Out of Bounds. JB, the Rams, and I mentioned this, they are a 10-point favorite at Charlotte tomorrow. Are you buying that? What did you think about when you saw that? Are they 10 points better like that?
Yeah, they should be, right? That loss they had in Carolina a few weeks ago, the Panthers hadn't been the same since then.
Right.
Not to mention the Rams haven't been, super great. So this will be a game to kickstart them. I think the Rams still can go to the Super Bowl, right? And the reason why I say that, obviously I think they'll win, tomorrow in Carolina, because Carolina just, they're young and consistent. The fact that they got in with a losing record and all of this, back-to-back losses, they're just lucky to be in, and I think that's going to be one and done for them. But the Rams, on the other hand, I think they can go into Seattle and win if they have to. In fact, I think we know they should have won in Seattle.
That's right. That's right.
Ago.
Yeah, that was kind of great game.
Yeah. So when you talk about a team that is balanced and they've got veteran guys, veteran coaches too, obviously with Sean McVay, but I think that they're battle tested enough that they can go in there and win that game. If they don't make the kind of mistakes they did when they lost a couple of weeks ago. And obviously, if you followed the Rams, and I know you guys, have had full wind of them, that special teams this season has just been atrocious, and it's cost them. How many games has it cost them? 2, 3, right?
And it cost a special teams coach his job.
Him too, yeah, exactly. So,
hey, Jared, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just thinking about something because we want to ask you about a couple of the coaching situations, but we got a good question from Morris Phillips out here on YouTube. He literally wants to know about the Cleveland Browns, a team that's not in the playoffs. A volatile question. Should they trade? Should they trade Shador or draft a quarterback? And I know they need a coach first, but that's a question we got from our audience.
Should they trade Shador? Wow! Now that one surprises me. That's the one. So the bottom line is no, because Shador might be that guy they've been waiting for like 25 years. Okay.
Yep.
And I think the fact that Stefanski's gone and the new guy could come in there and inherit that and try to develop it and make that happen is the opportunity. I still think, weird as it sounds, that Deshaun Watson might still be a factor next year if he's healthy, because they've paid all his money. All his money is guaranteed. So, it's like, why not see what we've got there? But all that to say, Shador Sanders could still be that, quarterback of the future that they've wanted. And I think it's been a great story. Well, it's not really been a great story when you think about how he fell in the draft and all that stuff, but it's been a great testament to him, how he's gotten to this point with all the attention, all the drama, even the stuff that, he did that was questionable, that, added to the whole thing. But the fact that he got into the lineup and then showed that he could play, that's been huge, right?
And so a great American story.
Yeah. And there's more to come. So no, they should not trade Shador Sanders.
Hey, Jared.
Next year.
Hey, Jared. Final thought for you. The Chargers have a monumental challenge Sunday night at New England. How much of a challenge is that for them? And are we waiting to see how good New England is?
Yeah, I think so. And so here's the deal. Justin Herbert has been, a guy that just kind of gives you everything he's got, right? So we know that. And their defense has been, like, really, really good, and they've got other players around. So I give the Chargers a chance. And here's the other thing I really want to, zero in on in this whole equation. the Chargers have a little bit more playoff experience than the New England Patriots.
Yes, they
so
do.
This is totally.
Yep.
And
they're on the road too.
Lost,
yep.
Yeah. And, Herbert has not won a playoff game yet, but maybe this is the week. And part of it could be, is New England's lack of experience going to catch up with them? Now, I'm not going to say it is until I see it, right? But that's one of those questions that you kind of have to throw out there and then see how it plays out.
Hey, Jared, thanks for coming on and hanging out with us for a little bit. We're going to get you back in here after the first round or so, but I know you're getting ready to head over to Jacksonville. Good luck with all your coverage, man, and keep doing what you're doing. You are a role model to a lot of us out here, man.
Absolutely.
You are one of the diamonds in covering the NFL. Safe travels to Jacksonville tomorrow, man, and have a good game tomorrow, and good luck with the rest of your coverage.
Hey, Jared, on the way out.
Man, y'all take care.
Jared, I got one question for you on the way out. Which name are you watching in the coaching cycle? And we got like 30 seconds.
I would love to watch Brian Flores, but Vance Joseph is definitely a guy I want to see if he's going to get his shot.
So Vance Joseph and Brian Flores, you're saying both of them?
Yeah, but Flores, that's the extenuating circumstances. We can talk about that before next time.
We got a lot. There's a lot more to talk about with that.
That's a whole 20-minute segment right there.
Hey, JB, thanks a lot, buddy.
Man, All right, good luck on the Friday night, man.
Yeah, you guys say safe travels, my man. Appreciate
Thank you, man. Jared Bell, NFL writer for USA Today. He's Neal Scarbrough. I'm Ray Richardson. This is the premier edition in prime time of Out of Bounds. When we come forward, more on the college football playoffs, and a rout is going on tonight down in Atlanta. We'll tell you more about that. This is Out of Bounds right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes.
Nation.
Every Friday night at 6 Pacific Time, it's Out of Bounds with Ray Richardson and Neal Scarbrough, the show that brings that barbershop flavor to the world of sports on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Black House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is calling Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem a, quote, stone-cold liar, end quote, over the deadly ICE shooting in Minneapolis.
The killing of Renee Nicole Good was an abomination, a disgrace.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says there appears to be no justification for the agent opening fire, despite DHS claims the shooting was defensive. The U.S. House of Representatives has approved a bill to extend expired Obamacare tax credits. The bipartisan measure passed 230 to 196, with 17 Republicans joining Democrats to renew COVID-era Affordable Care Act subsidies. And Sean Diddy Combs sought a pardon from President Trump after his federal conviction, but Trump says he denied the request. Trump cited their strained relationship after Diddy criticized his politics, fueling online speculation about the fallout. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Pasadena, it's a crash on the 210. This is making your way along that westbound side, Mountain Street. That's where the carpool lane is blocked. Delays are pushing back away from Hill. The eastbound side of the 210 is also slow in Pasadena from Sierra Madre. Delays and stretches all the way to Foothill, and you're on the brakes ahead out of Upland and stretches into Rialto. On the westbound side of the 210 in Rialto, just before Alder Avenue, a crash is keeping the drive slow moving away from Pepper.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Rams are in the first game of the NFL playoffs. They're at Carolina Saturday, 1:30 p.m. kickoff on Fox. The Rams are 10-point favorites, the only double-digit odds in the first round of the playoffs. Are those odds too high? Especially when the Rams lost to Carolina on November 30th. A crucial game for the Rams to prove they are still a legitimate Super Bowl contender. The Chargers are at New England Sunday night, 5 p.m. kickoff on NBC. Congratulations to USC women's basketball star Juju Watkins. The Compton native is having her number 12 jersey retired tonight by Sierra Canyon High School. Tonight at 6, it's the premiere of Out of Bounds in prime time. Join me and my co-host Neal Scarbrough for 60 minutes of sports chatter with some black folks flavor. You can be a part of the conversation at 1-800-920-1580. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Break out the champagne. Everybody get a glass.
Tavis Smiley is now ranked number 16 nationally and the highest rated talk show hosted by an African American on the 2025 Talkers Heavy 100 list of the most important talk radio hosts in the nation. Last year, Tavis ranked number 33 and the year before, number 45. The Tavis Smiley Show has rapidly expanded its national syndication to now include nearly 50 radio stations across the country and counting. Congratulations, Tavis.
Yay, yay! KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Ray Richardson and Neal Scarbrough, the editor extraordinaire, bring the flavor to the world of sports. It's Out of Bounds on KBLA Talk 1580.
Ball's caught at the 40. He's at the 30. The 20. He's at the 10.
These gentlemen have a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, where we always have a lot to talk about and sing about sometimes. Welcome forward to the premier edition of Out of Bounds in Prime Time. You can join the conversation at 1-800-920-1580, 1-800-920-1580, or you can hit us up on the YouTube chat. A lot of conversation going on in there tonight. He's Neal Scarbrough. I'm Ray Richardson. We're doing this in prime time starting tonight. We'll be with you every Friday from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on KBLA Talk 1580. Time now to get into a little college football. Neal, I'm stunned at the moment. We thought that tonight's semifinal would be somewhat of a competitive, maybe even a tight game.
Like last night's wonderful game.
Yeah, and if you are driving around, if you're not in front of your TV, this is not a mistake. I'm about to give you a halftime score, but Indiana is up over Oregon right now at the half, 35-7. Indiana is already 14-0. They are really solidifying themselves as maybe the front runner to win this whole thing. They have been just a machine all season long. I grew up in Chicago. I'm a Big Ten fan. I watched Big Ten sports all my life.
Basketball school.
Basketball was the king in Indiana growing up. We never, ever heard anything about Indiana football as long as I can remember. This is new territory for this school, for that state. I'm wondering how Notre Dame feels about this because they're in the Indiana also.
Great point.
This is something that Indiana is knocking on Notre Dame's door. And even if they don't win the title on January 19th, they have arrived as a power player in college football. Are you surprised at this?
Yeah, well, I mean, a little. I mean, if you actually pay attention, though, Indiana's been getting better in the last 10 years. You know, they had a couple coaches, and then they kind of went up and down. And, you know, they had that crazy offense. Remember, they quit putting up all those points a couple years back. And then the difference now is this guy,
Curt
Cignetti, the way he coaches, who he brings in. He came from JMU, brought all these, 1AA studs with him, FBC as we call it, football. Brought them all in, and then also he preached like hard work and physicality. And he said that's how we're going to win. And they just turned flipped the switch, and they're playing Big Ten football.
Yeah.
But what they did to Alabama. Right, because we were talking about what a great tournament this is, and I think you were telling me how many people watched that game? 29 million?
About 19 million.
19 million. I got my nines wrong there. 19 million people watched that game because they wanted Alabama to get knocked off, and they watched that whole game because that team was beating them up the whole game, and then they just pick up right where they left off. And Oregon is like this team has kind of been lurking around in the playoffs and the championship, so you thought, okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
But Indiana already went to Eugene and beat them in the regular season.
They did.
But they're beating the pants off of them right now.
Yeah.
Beating the pants off them. Dante Moore, unfortunately, had 2 very costly turnovers. Pick 6 on the first pass, and then he fumbled on the 3. So, Indiana's rolling. But take no credit away from this team, man. They gave him 14 points, and they took 21 points.
Yeah. Quick note about Curt Cignetti. Already, there are rumors going around that, and I hope he doesn't do it, he can get a much better job in the NFL than the Raiders. But all of a sudden, the Raiders have been lurking as a possible landing spot for him in the NFL. Now, a month ago, he just signed an 8-year, $93 million extension to stay at Indiana. They did that to keep him from going to Penn State. When they fired James Franklin,
right. They were
Curt Cignetti's name came up in that conversation. And now he's being looked at as a possibility of going to the Raiders, which, again, I hope he does not do. And the reason why the Raiders are in this conversation because Fernando Mendoza is the Heisman Trophy winner. He's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft.
Right.
The Raiders have the number 1 pick.
Right. So the double dip. They get the coach, they get the player.
Right.
People had those conversations before, and I think that's even played out in the NFL before. But listen, I feel like Curt Cignetti is a college dynamo.
He is.
And I think he's better off there. But, we just talked about this. College is changing so much that, it's the kind of thing where, like, you lose your best talent because of the mayhem around your leagues and your conferences. So we'll see. He's in the right spot, right? But I think elsewhere in this tournament, it's just been interesting to see how these teams have emerged. Like, Mississippi lasted longer than we thought.
Yeah.
Miami wasn't supposed to be in the tournament, right? According to Notre Dame graduates.
What a story.
And maybe a few folks at Texas, too, were like, hey, Miami got in, and look what they're doing. They're taking their moment and kicking that door down. So for whatever dysfunction college football has, they are having a marvelous tournament.
Yeah. And speaking of Miami, I am really happy for them. That program has been down for a while. But in the 80s and the early 90s, they were on top of the college football world. They always had tremendous players at that program, and it looks like they're on the comeback. Now, can you imagine now the championship game is going to be in Miami at Hard Rock Stadium where Miami plays their home games.
Right.
It just so happens that NCAA has scheduled this game to be in Miami like 5 or 6 years ago.
It's what the 49ers were trying to do also now.
They're gonna be at home pretty much for the national championship game. Looks like it's gonna be against Indiana. Is that an unfair advantage, do you think? I don't think so.
Well, it's a little bit of an advantage because their routine gets to be the same, right? They get to sleep in their beds. They get to, whatever their home game regimen is. And so they have a little bit of routine where it's not all crazy. It's going to be crazy anyway because it's a national title game. But, Indiana's going to be traveling in. Their fans are going to be there.
Yeah.
People are going to be pulling on them. You got tickets, can you have dinner, things like that. But, these teams are built to travel. They know what's going on. So I don't know if it's an on-the-field advantage. It's just a little bit of that comfort. They get to go home now from last night's game and sleep in Miami all week long in familiar territory. So it is somewhat of an advantage, but it's a kind of advantage when you're built like Indiana that it doesn't really matter because it's either you're going to be more physical than them or not. And Miami looks like a really physical team.
They are.
So this looks like a matchup, barring some crazy comeback by Oregon, that's really going to like put the best 2 teams, at least the best 2 tournament players together. I would give Indiana the best team all year long. They beat Ohio State. They beat Oregon.
Yeah.
Beat Alabama. And then Miami, who's taking this tournament ball and running with it.
A couple of quick headlines on today, and I know we talked about this earlier, but Mississippi's quarterback, Trinidad Chambliss, was turned down by the NCAA today. He was trying to get a 6th year as a medical redshirt. So now he's not able to return to Mississippi.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to go into the draft. And we were talking about this earlier. I think he could have used another year of some more experience, some more seasoning. But what we saw in him in this postseason run, I think he got some people's attention in the NFL that he could be a pretty decent backup quarterback and maybe even somebody you can build on with.
Well, I think he might even be more than that because he's got a good story because he was division. He was
Ferris
at Ferris
State.
State Division 2. That's his Division 2.
Yeah.
He won the national championship there, but he was brought into Mississippi to be a backup. Right, and this guy Austin, I can't remember his last name, got hurt. Their starter, and he took over like second game or third game, and he's run with that to the finish line.
Yeah,
right, and so teams have seen that. Right, took the opportunity, grabbed it, was a winner in his last role, but also he's not going to be hotter than he is right now.
Yeah, he's out
the performance he put on the last 3 games, and certainly the last 2 games, made him look like Carson Beck had a good game. Trinidad looked like the best player on the field the other night outside of these defensive linemen for actually both teams. But he looked like the best player on the field. And so this is his moment. So this is almost like, hey, I can't go to the –
take advantage
come
of
back, get into the – I mean, if it's a second-round pick, so what? But the point is he might be better than that because he looks better than that in this tournament. So if I'm his advisors, I'm like, hey, this isn't the worst thing, man. We just seize this moment. And you're quarterback number 3 in this draft behind Mendoza and the kid from Oregon.
Dante Moore.
Yep.
All right. Well, whatever happens to him, we wish him well, but I think he's going to be okay. I think he's going to turn out well. This is not a disastrous decision for him at all.
Yeah.
He's Neal Scarbrough. I'm Ray Richardson. Welcome forward, everybody, to Out of Bounds, the premier edition of our primetime version. When we come forward, we're going to talk a little bit about who had a bad week and who had a good week this past week, and also what we're going to get you ready for. By the time we come back here next Friday, there'll be some interesting things to talk about. We'll tell you more about that. He's Neal Scarbrough. I'm Ray Richardson. This is Out of Bounds right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's your Friday night sports fix. Out of Bounds in prime time with Ray Richardson and Neal Scarbrough. Every Friday night at 6 Pacific time on KBLA Talk 1580.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a Black and Brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
What make you? Yeah.
The California California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Ray Richardson, your LA Sports Authority, and Neal Scarbrough, the editor extraordinaire, are bringing the heat. It's Out of Bounds on KBLA Talk 1580. These guys have a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, where we always have a lot to talk about. Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA, in the heart of Los Angeles. Welcome forward to the premiere edition of Prime Time Out of Bounds with my guy Neal Scarbrough. I'm Ray Richardson. By the way, if you're still riding around town and you are not following the college football semifinals
it's
tonight,
worse.
You might as well not even worry about it. Right now, Indiana has just scored again, and they are on top of Oregon 42-7. If you had money on Indiana, you're gonna go home with some cash tonight. And maybe, I don't know if people bet the scores. If people still bet the scores on when
the line, yeah, of course
the
they
line,
do. Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
if you had, what would be a good line, like what, 25 and under, 25 and over?
Oh, for the over-under?
The over-under, yeah.
For this game, it was probably about 55.
Yeah,
maybe,
okay.
You know, thinking each team would get about 27, 30, something like that,
well,
right?
Combined, they got 49 points, but 42 of them belong to Indiana.
Oh, my
right
God.
now.
That is a whooping like we didn't see,
Yeah,
man. I guess Dan Lannon's getting his clicks now.
Oh, yeah, right. Clicks. All right, time now for one of our segments. We're going to get into who had a good week and a bad week. Mm-hmm. And speaking of good weeks, and we've been talking about college football a little bit tonight anyway, but this sort of fills right in. ESPN had a great week this week. Mm-hmm. They've been broadcasting most of the college football playoff games, and in the quarterfinals, they had an average of 19.3 million viewers in the quarterfinals alone, just the quarterfinals. Jeez. And that Indiana-Alabama game, 23.9 million people watched that game on New Year's Day, and that was a record for viewership in the 12-team format. Since they went to 12 teams, no game, not even the title game, has had that many viewers. So this has been an exceptional week for ESPN, and this is probably why they spent all that money to get the tournament, to brought these games.
Right. And listen, I mean, it was built perfectly. I mean, you had all the Lane Kiffin stuff going into the tournament. Was he going to coach his team? Was he not? They're moving on without him. Obviously, he had a great showing. Didn't get to the mountaintop, but they had a great showing without him. And then also the controversy that we talked about a couple of minutes ago with who was going to be that 11th and 12th team.
Right.
We had Tulane and JMU in there, and then Texas was whining, and Notre Dame had a pretty good case to whine, but they were whining. And then Miami got in and got their little slide and ran with it. So this is built for Hollywood. There's, everybody had a little hype before they got there.
Yeah, a lot to talk about.
But you know who else is having a great week that we should mention?
Yeah,
is the fearless leader of this radio station, Tavis Smiley, is an Indiana graduate. So, right now it's 42-7. So he's probably beside himself because they're rolling tonight. So we'll give him a little bit of love.
Yeah,
here,
what a day for Indiana alumni.
Yep.
All right, what you got for who had a bad week?
Well, I'm going to stay in the same lane, man, because it's hot right now, what we're talking about, this college football playoff. For all the right reasons, it's looking pretty good. But it's been a tough week for the SEC.
Yes.
It's kind of been a tough end of the season partly because of that Lane Kiffin controversy we talked about. The SEC finished with 5 They'll have 6 new coaches next year. Lane Kiffin's just switching jobs.
Yeah.
But so you have 5 teams in the tournament and 6 teams with new coaches. So that should be your whole conference. But no, it's an 18-team mess, right? And between NIL and the dilution of talent, the SEC is now out of the tournament.
They had 5 teams in there.
They had 5 tournaments, and 5 teams are gone. And Mississippi showed well, but they're out now. We got a Big Ten matchup right now, so the Big Ten's going to be in the championship game. Obviously, it looks like Indiana and the ACC, the little sister conference, as they were treated by.
Can you imagine how
NCAA.
happy they must be right now?
Right. All the people saying ACC doesn't belong, ACC not competitive. What happened to Florida State? And here we sit. So I'm just gonna lay into the SEC just because it's an unwieldy conference. And look, I'm gonna just make this point. Of the 5 teams that are in there, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia are SEC teams, but Oklahoma, right, and Texas A&M, they're really Southwest Conference Big 12 teams, So
they are.
The point is the SEC, as we remember it, big old brawling conference. We talk about the Big Ten is this and the SEC is this. Big Ten has showed up a little bit, but just watch where these other teams are coming from that we invited into this tournament. The SEC days of dominance may be over. Even defensive draft picks that we come to love from the SEC are spreading themselves all over the country. So I'm just going to remind people that the SEC, for all of this, keep all the money in the SEC and with a glory conference. Parity is a and the SEC may not win a title again. They weren't in the title game last year, right? It was Ohio State and Notre Dame. And so here they are this year, and it's going to be Indiana and Miami. So I'm just going to lay low, lay the SEC low.
Lay it out.
And just say, hey, it's your time. It's glory time in college football, and y'all ain't there.
I'm going to add to that. This is the 3rd straight year that an SEC team has not made it to the final game. So that's 3 years in a row. And this is why a lot of SEC people are mad right now or hurting. In the last 10 years, the SEC has won 6 championships in the last 10 years. So they have been dominating college football until the last 3 years. This is not a good time for them. And Kalen DeBoer at Alabama, let's keep our radar on him to see how he survives the next few weeks down there.
Yeah. Like, he's a pretty good coach. You know who told me that? I heard Nick Saban say that the other day. So I'm gonna believe Nick Saban when he says the program's in good hands with Kalen DeBoer. But the landscape's changing. Yeah. And you can't keep a roster. Yeah. Right? I mean, of those kids I was talking about earlier, hey, they started at one school, they went to another school, now they're here. Alabama was mentioned in all those places. Yeah. Because Alabama gets them in, they got a lot of talent, you don't find a spot, you find somewhere else to go, but that also means you don't have depth. Right? And so the SEC, LSU is down, Florida is nowhere, Georgia got bloody the last couple of years, and Georgia had been dominating last couple of years. But then, you have good stories like Vanderbilt on the come up, right? And so the SEC is still interesting, but they're just not as competitive and dominant as they say they are.
I heard an interesting point today, and it made sense that a lot of the kids that used to go to an SEC school are now going elsewhere. And they think it's the byproduct of NIL. The NIL money is, if a school has money to give a kid, they can compete with SEC schools now.
Yep.
And I think that might be some of the trickle-down effect we're seeing with the SEC. And somebody made a point today about talking about Alabama's roster, say like 5 or 6 years ago when Nick Saban was still there. He said he went to a practice at Alabama one day and saw guys on the bench that could have been All-Americans at another school or starters at another school.
Right.
They're not getting those players anymore now.
Well, with Saban, the one thing they did have too was it was like a pro factory. You like players from all over the field.
But that was before NIL too.
I was gonna say you go there and you stay there because you were learning how to be a pro, even if you weren't playing first couple of years. Now it's like you get re-recruited. Yeah. And if you're 18 and 19 and somebody's like, and they have money involved. I mean, if they didn't have money involved and you just got re-recruited every year, it would be a threat. Yeah. But now with the money, it's like I'm just trying to get a better deal and I'm gone, bro.
Yeah. All right, he's Neal Scarbrough. I'm Ray Richardson. You can join the conversation at 1-800-920-1580, 1-800-920-1580. Time now to let you know about what's going to be going down by the time we come back here next Friday. This is what will be on our menu and on our radar, and it should be on your radar as well. A couple of things to think about. Some of these NFL head coaching vacancies might be filled by the time we come back next Friday. Right now, there are 8 teams looking for a head coach. 8 teams. That is a lot of people looking for jobs right now.
1/4 the league.
And by the time we come back in next Friday, we may have seen maybe 1, maybe 2 or 3 teams that have hired a coach. Also, we'll know, it looks like Miami's going to be playing Indiana. We thought we weren't going to know that right now.
But now we know.
But now it looks like they've got a 42-15 lead. So it looks like by the time we come back, Miami will be playing Indiana for the national championship on January 19th.
Yeah, wow, that's great. That's great. I'll tell you what I'm actually looking. I'm riding with Jared Bell. You know what I'm looking at? I'm looking at this Monday night.
Oh, the Steelers and Houston.
Houston game.
Yeah.
You know, because the Steelers are either about to make a run or it all comes crashing down and they get outclassed by that Houston defense, and then people are calling for Mike Tomlin's head again and wondering whether Aaron Rodgers is going to come back. Now, if they are very successful, maybe make it to the AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl, Rodgers might just leave anyway. If he gets that far, he's like, okay, I made my point, I'm done.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say is we'll know whether we have a quarterback next season. I'm a Steeler fan.
Yeah.
But he may leave he may be more inclined to leave, y'all, if they're successful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm just looking at that game because I'm trying to figure out next week we'll know if Mike Tomlin is safe, if the Steelers are the same old Steelers, playoffs and out, or whether they're actually trying to position themselves to get a couple wins and maybe go on a run. Because like our producer Andy, I believe if the Steelers get past Houston, it could be downhill to the AFC Championship game, and we'll see what happens if you get that chance.
Also, we'll know how good the Rams and Chargers might be by next Friday. They've got to go on the road. Both of those games are on the first round. They Rams
open the weekend and close the
opening weekend. They close it out on the road, so we'll get a better idea of how good our local LA NFL teams are.
Yep.
Hey, that's our time to end the regulation. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us on our premiere edition.
Yes, love y'all on YouTube. Love y'all on YouTube.
The YouTube chat was crazy tonight. We thank y'all for hanging out with us, and thanks to the all-pro work of Andy holding it down for us in the upper room. For Neal Scarbrough, I'm Ray Richardson. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. Up next, get ready for the Voice of Reason, the best of the Voice of Reason.
All right.
With my guy, Zoe Williams. He's got a lot to talk about as well. Until next Friday at 6, have a great week. We'll see you right back here next on Out of Bounds on prime time on KBLA Talk 1580.
Stay black, y'all.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Black House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is calling Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem a, quote, stone-cold liar, end quote, over the deadly ICE shooting in Minneapolis.
The killing of Renee Nicole Good was an